You gonna lie on both things. We live, yo.
That's not what I was trying to do.
Oh, let me see if I got my notes. That's funny though, man.
What's
Uh,
funny?
like yesterday, last night,
I'm still missing what's funny.
uh, my revelations.
Oh,
Hilarious.
good morning, everybody.
Oh, good morning to you. Because I have not told you good morning
Good
yet.
morning.
That's so funny though.
I'm up here like, what revelations did we have? But
Me figuring out what how the United States is laid out.
you need to issue New York and New Jersey an apology.
I do. I do officially today.
Finally figured out where y'all were on the
Yeah.
map.
And April didn't get my analogy of
You was like, your hands.
put your hands together, thumbs facing you.
I thought this.
I thought your left hand was New York and your right hand was New Jersey.
That's not
Straight up.
right. So when we go visit my family in Delaware,
And I was putting Delaware by Canada.
we go visit my family in Delaware. You can just make like a whole.
Yeah.
You can visit a few states because it's not very long to
Good
Florida.
morning. I was
Good morning.
I need to revisit fifth grade social studies. Is it social studies that you learn the maps
Yeah.
or geography?
Well, once you
I
get to
used to
high
get I
school,
used to
it
get
becomes
confused. I
geography.
don't know if I ever took
Yes, you
geography.
had to take
Did I?
geography. Once you get to high school, it becomes geography. But in elementary school, it's all put together under social
That
studies.
really had me like I really was wrong about
Good morning.
that.
Y'all, Tommy had a time last night. He was over here with a map and he was learning him some geography.
I sure was.
You was like, Italy, where is it? What was it that you kept telling me?
Sweden.
No, it wasn't sweet. I'm talking about in the Middle East. You kept saying, no, it's not over there. And I'm like, yes, it is.
I don't
Oh,
remember. The Red Sea.
Dubai.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
that was it.
The Red Sea.
You was like, he parted the Red Sea. Where is the Red Sea? I was like, Middle East. She was like, no, it's not. Yes, it
Yep, it's right there.
is.
It is definitely right there. Now I was trying to figure out was it long ways or sideways? Was it longitude or latitude? Trying to figure that out.
Ah, that is one of those. We had a time last night.
Yeah. That's the funny thing about me though. It's like I I consider myself a genius, like part genius, but it's some things I just completely fail on. And that's one of them. It was in my mind that these places were somewhere else. And some places didn't exist in my mind. But
What
I'm
didn't exist?
I don't know. But I'm very resourceful. And you know,
Your wife's Android phone.
hey, yeah, Google is something else.
Google Maps was a blessing
Yeah.
today.
I had to look over and make sure our Google wasn't listening.
Oh,
Um
anyway,
that was funny though, man.
so
What's up?
what you want to talk about this morning?
Everything.
Okay.
So, disclaimer, we are gonna talk about the Tyre Nichols situation. Because it happened in my wife's hometown and I've been paying attention to it all this week and yeah, it's gonna be they released a video last night, but I don't want to talk about that right now.
Okay.
The first thing I want to talk about is Beyonce. I want to start off with a bang because Beyonce did.
Big bank.
This woman, superstar,
Call a big bank. Beyonce.
Big Bank Hank from Houston. Um,
Tommy said my mic
my
was
mic
working.
not working.
Yours is fine. She asked is mine working.
Oh, I don't
Fix your
know.
mic.
I ain't fixing nothing. You just better talk louder. Okay, but Beyonce made 24 million in 1 hour. That's amazing to me.
That's not
Nah, her mic's not working, guys. My fault. Now her mic should be working.
Hit the X.
You don't gotta direct me, man. I
Well,
know
you
what I'm
weren't
doing.
doing anything. Can you hear me now?
Give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair if you can hear.
Don't. It is too early for you to be
Is it?
starting it.
Nah, I've been up for a little while.
Yeah, I know. I saw you on the front porch at 6 o'clock in the morning. And yet you came right back in the house and turned the alarm on.
Yeah, it's just a habit. I have no clue if your mic is
I
working. I'm
don't
finna
know if
check it.
either one of us can be heard at this point.
Why you said it? Maybe
Okay,
not.
she said yes, she can hear both of us.
Oh.
Okay, great. Must have been a delay. Well, I'm sorry, there is a delay. I don't know how many seconds the delay is.
Nobody gave a Ric Flair though.
It's too early, Tommy.
But anyway, like I was saying,
Big Bank Beyonce,
yeah, she made 24 million in 1 hour. That's
allegedly. Because I've seen
it's.
people
I
say
don't think
it's
it's
up as
alleged.
high as 36 million.
Well, I'm gonna just stick with the 24
Okay.
because
You trying to shortchange my girl?
I'm not trying to shortchange it. I'm just like $24 million for 1 hour of work. That's impressive. Like if I could do that, I would work every 6 months.
You probably wouldn't work that often.
I probably wouldn't. You know.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Thank you. I think Tommy switched the settings on the mic after I set them the
So
way he
I
told
was
me to
just
set
sitting up
them.
here talking to you. Y'all didn't even hear what she was saying about the geography lesson I had last night. But anyway, it's cool. It's all good.
They heard you talk about
Yeah.
it.
But no, I think that's really impressive, man. And it's like from the man's perspective, it's like I don't gotta work no more. If you let me tell you, if you was like, I'm finna go work this hour, they're gonna pay me 24. You don't even have to get paid 24 million. They can pay you 1 million. I'm gonna be like, all right, I'm finna quit my job. If I know that you can bring in revenue like that, I'm gonna be like, well, shoot, man. I don't have to work.
What's the dollar amount that you like? I don't need to work no more.
I don't know. I ain't thought about it.
Oh,
But definitely $1 million.
okay. If I could work sporadically and make a million every time I work,
Yeah.
you would be like,
I
it's cool.
I'm done. I'm finna go be a videographer.
Videographer?
Yeah. For the like that's what I'm about to do. I'm gonna be a stay home dad, record everything, and work on editing stuff.
You're gonna be which one of
And
Deion
then
Sanders' sons records him?
Dion Jr.
You
I
gonna be
will
him?
be him. And then I get my CPA license and everything. I study for it and everything. Be like, yeah, I'm a CPA. I just record.
Who gonna watch the kids while you studying for the CPA?
You gonna pay somebody.
Oh, okay.
We are gonna hire somebody because at that point, like that's a million. That's $999,000 plus $100,000. You know?
People don't know the ridiculousness that I have
Yeah,
to deal
man.
with being married
That's
to you.
like I know it. I know it. That's just I was just really highly impressed with that, man.
Mhm.
I think
Well,
that's
I'm not
amazing.
paying them kind of money to go see Beyonce.
No, I'm definitely not. She did it in front of a private crowd.
I
So
know.
just imagine how much more money that they paid like to like they paid her 24, but then, you know, to put on this show, you
Well, I'm
know.
sure that her 24 had to be split up amongst her
I'm pretty sure
people.
it did, but still, I can come to somebody like, I'll do this for 1 hour for 20. What if they hired her for 2 hours? Because she has 2 hours worth of music.
We've watched her perform more
Yeah,
than 2 hours. Well, I don't remember how long her set was, but she
yeah.
got enough material.
But
And she has enough Beyonce material. Not like she don't have
yeah,
to
she don't have to jump
reach
in
into
nobody
Destiny Child stuff.
or the Carter stuff,
Right.
which would be cool.
And you don't get Beyonce for 20. You don't get Beyonce and Jay-Z for
Nah,
24
you
million.
don't.
You get Beyonce.
but they could afford Beyonce. But anyway, have you seen this hotel?
No.
It's a resort in Dubai that she did this for, and
I saw that that's what it was for, but I didn't take the time to look at anything
yeah,
um in regards to it.
mm,
It was just where
it was just what,
it was I just saw like a few pictures of people like arriving outside and stuff like that.
yeah.
But Dubai is on my bucket list of places to go. You're
It
trying to send me an email.
looks like a Lego building.
It does look like a Lego building. It's on the water.
Yeah. The cheapest one of the rooms go to 100,000. That's what she stayed in.
Of course.
hundred
If I
thousand
pay you
dollars for
24
a
million,
night.
I should be able
A
to.
night.
It's a lot of money there.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine rent like staying in a hotel for $100,000 a night. I wouldn't want to do that. I feel like that's a waste of my money.
I think the most expensive hotel that I've stayed in was like almost $500 a night. That was in New York. But my my journalism teacher negotiated a lesser rate,
Yeah.
and on top of her negotiating the lesser rate, we stayed our room. We had 3 to a room,
Yeah.
but some people's rooms had 4 to a room.
Yeah.
So
Um I think the most expensive room I stayed in was, I don't know. What's the most expensive? It was with you. So wherever you,
probably Jamaica.
yeah, that is. Anyway, kudos to Beyonce for earning $24 million for 1 hour of work. Very proud of her
Okay.
because I'm a super fan.
What else you got? Super
Um,
fan.
13 women plan to sue Houston building owner after they say they got herpes from the janitor. Go.
So when you sent that to me, my very first thought was all of them doing the janitor? How they gonna sue him? But then I read the story. So these 13, well, this janitor was going around this office building and rubbing his genitals. I'm trying to say this the most PC way. Rubbing his genitals across these women's water bottles. And one of the women caught him on a like planted camera because she was noticing that her waters were being tampered with, and when she opened them they had a nasty smell to them and stuff like that.
Mm,
So he's done this to at minimum 13 women.
dang.
I was like, how disgusting can you be?
Right. Like, my thing is, it's like, what were you getting out of that, man?
Absolutely nothing.
Did you know?
Jail time is what he about to get.
Yeah. You probably gonna get killed.
Okay, I wasn't gonna go that far, but
I
okay.
mean, like, let's be honest, man. He's giving out. Good morning. He's giving out a basically like he's killing these women, right? Can't you die from herpes?
No, you
Oh,
just have it forever.
look, right. He's giving them something that they have forever that could possibly spread to their spouse, significant other,
Kids, because
kids.
they have it in the mouth at this point
Yeah,
because drinking water bottles.
right. So it's like,
Could you imagine
no,
a person coming home to you saying that they got diagnosed with herpes and all you're thinking is you cheated on me?
yeah,
And that's not even the case.
yeah.
This is why I wash my water bottle every morning at work and refill it. I always wonder if someone used it.
That's why my water bottle don't be out of my sight.
Yeah, Tommy puts his back in the truck every day. I
Yep.
haven't had to go into an office in quite some
The
time.
funny part is I lose it.
He does always say, "Have you seen my water bottle? It's exactly where you put it. It's in the truck."
Have you seen my water bottle?
See,
What'd he
he
say?
walked into herpes.
Oh man, that's my brother Steve, guys. Um, but nah, it's like the wildest thing in the world. Like I couldn't imagine. Like I only feel for those families, that's
Mhm,
affected, just because it's like that's devastating, you
mhm.
know. And it's like you got nothing out of it. Only thing you was trying to do was be healthy, drink your water, and
Not be thirsty.
right,
And some people, it's not even about health. It's literally, I
nigga,
just don't want to be thirsty.
we need water to survive, and you can't trust. So, moral of the story: don't let your water bottle out your
No,
sight.
don't be a nasty, perverted person contaminating other people's stuff.
What can you do to prevent that? Is
I
just don't
thought you was
let
about to say forest fires.
it scrolled across my head. But like what can you do to prevent it? It's just watch your stuff
That's true,
and
but
keep it like you shouldn't have to feel like you can't leave like you shouldn't feel like you're not at home when you're in the office. Like keep your stuff tidy, because I know some people don't clean their house up well. But
this is just like I left this on my desk.
right, it's a safe place for your stuff to
Right.
be. And it's sad that you can't do that. Bless you.
Thank you. Next sneeze just hit me out of nowhere. Um,
That's mostly what happens when
no,
sneezes
I be
come.
feeling some of
Do
them.
you?
That one
You be like,
just
huh, huh,
that
huh, huh.
one was just like bam in your face. Um, yeah, I get it though. Like I'm saying, the women leaving stuff
No, I get
because
that too.
I'm thinking about like my last two jobs that
Yeah.
I had to work in office. The very last one, I was in a cubicle, so it was free reign of the space. There were about 10 of us that had keys to the actual office that could
Hmm.
unlock the doors and get in. Um, I believe he was hired by a third party
Yeah,
company.
he was the building
Yeah,
hired
he
him.
was the building's janitor, and he did this to women that worked for various companies within the
Hmm.
building. So like almost like a business park where each company had their own individual
Yeah.
like doors and setups and stuff. Likely a bunch of smaller businesses.
Yeah.
But like my stuff was just out in the open at the last job. The job before that, I had a office with a door that locked, and
Hmm.
only one other person, which was the owner of the company,
Yeah.
had a key to my door.
Yeah.
So that one I left stuff in the office because I could
That
lock
makes
it.
sense. That makes sense.
Um but the other one, when I was in a cubicle with the 8 or 9 other people, we had like 150
What
employees
job was that?
when I worked for Right at Home.
Oh. Oh
You
yeah.
never went into that office.
Once. I don't remember it though.
But we had like, even though there were like 8 of us who had access to the office, only like 4 of us worked in the office like on a regular basis.
Hmm.
So it was still pretty limited, the interactions that you would think would come in and out. And we didn't have like a cleaner or anything coming in. We cleaned up on Fridays. Like that was our thing at 3 o'clock on Fridays.
Yeah.
We started vacuuming and wiping stuff down.
Man, it's that's just it's crazy to even think that would happen. And it's just sad, man.
It is really sad.
It's just
And it's
truly
like, what
sad.
do you get? And then they were saying that they were complaining, but nothing ever happened until this lady caught him on camera and was able to like provide video footage
Yeah.
that this is what he was doing.
All right. But yeah, that's crazy. Anyway, hopefully I think he's arrested, and his bond is set at like 75,000 or something like that. So dude should probably just be in jail. Just call it a day.
Mm-hmm.
Um Question for you. In cases like that, because I always feel like people shouldn't be locked in cages, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think animals really need to be locked in cages, but people definitely should. How do
You right,
you
Mona.
what happened?
She said this store makes you want to lock up your water bottles, cups, and food.
Yep.
When I worked for St. Jude, we kept our food locked up,
Yeah.
but
I
that's because we always had desk
I
snacks.
keep everything in only thing that's not locked up is when I take my lunch. That now I'm like rethinking that. Mm. That's why I don't mess with people with fast food. I don't know what they're doing to my food. And
Correct.
I pray over it and pray to Jesus that I'm okay. That's why I don't like fast food too much.
What's your question?
Um, if jail and stuff like that is a like other places, I started thinking about other places because it's some place where people go to prison or
Hmm.
jail and they come out better people. You
The
know,
U.S. isn't designed that way.
nah. And I think about the school shootings. I think about like guns. I was watching one of the Daily Show things,
Hmm.
and they were talking about like how people in I think England. Now don't quote me on this,
Hmm.
but people in England they don't have guns,
Right.
and they also don't have like school shootings and stuff
Right.
as frequent as we do.
Hmm.
So it's like, what could we change about our society that could actually help society move forward and not be so tragic and so violent?
Well, we consume a lot of gory and violent things.
Yeah.
Number one, that should be suppressed in a way. Um,
Hmm. People said
but
nothing.
it's kind of difficult.
Yeah.
You're always gonna have the people who are like, guns don't kill people, people kill people. But I'm like, if they didn't have a gun, would they have died?
It's a possibility they wouldn't have won the fight.
Exactly. It's a possibility.
Strong.
But when you have the gun,
Yeah.
kind of changes things.
Yeah.
And then you have this whole, well, people are criminals. I'm like, it's like criminals do this, criminals do that. I'm like, everybody's not a criminal until they are.
Yeah. That's true.
It's like the act changes it. But I think about like how quickly you can go get a gun.
How easy.
No, quick. I mean, like
Yeah. I mean, like it's super easy.
it was a really quick process.
It's even easier at gun shows.
Right. And it's like you can just walk in, show your ID. They be like, hold on,
Yeah.
give us a few.
Yeah. In
They
and out in 45 minutes.
was it even 45 minutes? I
Yes.
think it might have taken you a little bit longer than 45 minutes just because you
Yeah.
had to wait for somebody to come over to assist you.
Yeah.
But it's crazy.
Yeah.
Then like I remember once like looking for a gun with one of your friends who is a gun enthusiast.
Yeah.
Like y'all had to go to like 5 stores to find
Right.
one gun.
That was right at the pandemic, man.
Yeah, it
Like
was
people
like
were like buying guns like they wasn't gonna make anymore.
right, like the zombie attack was coming in the form of
I ain't gonna
COVID.
lie to you though. I thought COVID was like a sign of a zombie attack. Cause I had never seen like cities just empty like they were. And I mean it was scary for a moment.
You know what the one key thing you were missing
What?
was? A zombie.
That's true. That's true. That is true. But I had told him, I was like, all right, so the first thing we need to do is get to his house and then we'll be cool. And then we can branch out and see what else we need to do.
We have too many cooks in the kitchen here. We do. Guns are a constitutional right. Unless there's going to be an amendment to the U.S. Constitution, guns aren't going away. Absolutely true.
I don't
I
think
think that they need to limit, in my opinion, the types of guns because there's no way. People are like, I go hunting. You don't need a semi-automatic rifle to go hunting.
I honestly don't know how we fix that.
I don't either.
Because I do think, hey, if you want a gun, you should be able to buy a gun. But I don't know how you
Well, I
make
don't
it.
think everybody should be able to
I
buy
don't
a
think
gun.
everybody should be able to, but I think there's enough responsible people in the world in the United States to be gun owners. Like I do like what Tennessee does, right? They it when you go get your license, I think with gun owners they should have a they it should be a requirement to go through a class on how to use it. And you get that and then it's you know I don't know, man. It's just something got to go with the gun issue because it makes me think about this 6-year-old kid
Mm-hmm.
that shot his teacher. Um, because it basically what happened was he shot his teacher. I have no clue as to why he shot his teacher, but he had to like it was so many failures in that school. This happened in Virginia a few weeks ago. Um, it was so many failures in that school. I had the article pulled up. I was reading it.
Mona said easy access to guns. I heard the Japanese play a lot of violent video games but have less gun violence. The penalty for having a gun is higher. Like for having
Is
and
it?
using a gun is higher in Japan.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, so this 6-year-old kid like brings a gun to school,
I found the
and
story. Do you want it?
I got it right here.
Oh, okay.
And he shot his teacher at the end of the day.
So he waited.
So he had all day for people to check him and stuff like that to find this gun.
Well,
So
nobody's just checking.
no, they heard like the thing about it is he showed a kid, and the kid
Oh,
came to a teacher crying about, hey, he showed me a kid and he said he'd shoot me if I tell anybody.
I don't know if we can at this point. It's too ingrained in society. That class is cool here, but you only take it once unless you want to do the advanced course. Open carry should be restricted to 30 years or older. Some restrictions on types of guns, more punishment for your gun being out of your possession would be beneficial. That would absolutely be beneficial.
Yeah, definitely. Because that's what happened in this situation is that it was his mom's gun. She had like then she just got it.
Yeah, that's the link to the story I just posted.
Where
It's going to come up in
oh
just a second.
I'm sitting up here like what? I didn't see anything in my
There it
phone.
is. See,
Oh, I was looking at USA Today. But anyway,
I figured you weren't looking at what I was looking at. I just found the first article that mentioned it.
yeah. Um he showed a kid the gun. He obviously got it from his parent and shot his teacher. He didn't kill the teacher, but the administrators or the people that they were, like asking to search the kid,
Hmm.
they were like he had small pockets or wait it out and see
No,
what
when I was in
happens.
school, they were like, if they said anything, the whole class was getting searched.
When
Like I remember a kid bought a knife to school
yeah,
because he was getting bullied, which I don't think we were calling it that back
nah,
then.
they was probably just checking them, right?
I don't know exactly. I wasn't in class
I
with him.
hated that stuff, man. That bullying stuff was
I wasn't in class with him, so I don't know how any of that was happening. Like I didn't see it with my own
yeah.
eyes. But he bought a knife to school and told somebody in class that he had the knife. They literally shut down that teacher's class
Mm-hmm.
and was like, we gonna find this knife, or we gonna find if it actually is a knife. They found it and ended up calling his parents to come get him. I want to say they put him in some type of counseling
Yeah.
in school, but I don't know. This kid had behavioral issues and was supposed to be in school. I'm gonna say wasn't supposed to be in school without his aid.
Yeah. But the thing that bothers me the most is this happened at 2 p.m.
Hmm.
They get to school 7, 8, 9.
He was like, "I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna go home."
Like the thing is, it's like, and people and teachers were like, "Hey, can we search him? Hey, can we search him? Can we search?" Like they asking to search this dude. I remember when I was in school, we used to get paddlings and and stuff. Like I got a
Mhm.
paddling one time. I was like, man, this is bull.
Never had that happen.
You
I
never got
figured
a
as much,
yeah. I did, man,
Mona. I'm sorry, Narette.
and it wasn't even my fault, man.
Yeah, I don't agree with paddling in school. Like Nobody that I know that got paddled at school ever made a difference in how they were acting the rest of the day. I just
I don't know, man.
I need you to find another approach to get
Yeah.
through to this kid.
Hey, man, I believe in whoopings.
Okay.
But it's just weird, man. You think about, like, I really hate it when guns are associated with schools,
Mm-hmm.
and really hate it when they're associated with elementary schools. This is a 6-year-old kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I understand the kid had behavior problems and stuff like that. You have to protect these children. If there's a small hunch, yes, I'm going to check this child.
I don't understand why it wasn't a thing though. Like
If a
why?
child comes to me,
No, I'm saying like if it was mentioned and the teachers were like, "Hey, this needs to be handled,"
yeah,
and it doesn't get handled, what happens to all these people that mishandled this teacher getting shot?
they're getting fired.
Exactly. That's
I
what I'm
don't
saying.
know if the teachers are, but the administrators are getting fired.
The whole story is weird. The kid is 6, is having trouble in school to the point where one parent has to be in class with him. The first day that no parent is there with him, this happens. Everyone blames schools, but poor parenting is the real problem. A 6-year-old with a gun is a parenting problem. You are absolutely right.
I haven't gotten to the parent yet.
Well, I'm just talking about the school level. Like,
Yeah.
if it's been reported that there is
Right.
a gun at the school, and I tell you as an administrator, there's a gun at the school, and your rebuttal is his pockets are too small.
Man, I'm punching you in the face.
That's all you got is his pockets are too small.
And at that point, it's like, I don't even care if I have permission to, bro. Pull your pockets, because like, for me, the thing that bothers me more than anything was that the Sandy Hook, the what is it, Parkland in Florida, and the fact that they were like, oh, it's fake. My God, come on.
Why would a parent with a troubled kid even buy a gun and keep it in the house? I'm not saying you can't have a gun. I'm not saying you can't have it in your
Why
house.
is it
Have it locked up.
right? Why
They
is it
literally make gun safes and they're not that expensive.
right?
They cost less than buying a gun.
And it's small enough. The gun is small enough for this child to have it and hide it.
Mm-hmm.
Because this child shot this teacher. This teacher is still alive.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Um.
As a person, I've never been shot, but as a person who has had a gun pulled on them, I have PTSD from that.
Yeah. As a person who shot a small cannon, like the idea that this child was not afraid to shoot this gun says he has some type of behavior problem. Because I think I shot a gun for the first time. I was in my 20s, late 20s.
Mm-hmm.
It was me and you went together,
Mm-hmm.
and I was nervous then, you know. But the fact that this child wasn't nervous and actually I was shooting at a target.
Mm-hmm.
He's shooting at a person, and it's just crazy the fact that he knew how to use it. I don't know what type of gun it was or anything like that, but it's just it's a failure of schools,
Mm-hmm.
school administrations, failure of the adults in his life, and that's something that just needs to be checked.
Mm-hmm.
It's really sad that happened, and I'm praying that the kids can actually get through this without any trauma, because we all remember what school started for us. Like, I remember kindergarten, some things. I remember I used to love the naps
Oh, you remember
and
things from your
recess.
youth.
And then before we went to, like, actually had to go to class, we used to go into another class and watch, like, Sesame Street and Barney and stuff, because we get there before school starts.
Oh,
And so they
okay.
have everybody in there watching TV and stuff. And I remember lunch. Up and through high school, I had I was most nervous about forgetting my little code to get lunch. Like, that was throughout school. I was like, what if I forget my code? Because you don't want to write it down because it's like a passcode and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't pay me any type of money to remember any of those codes. But anyway, yeah, I'm just praying for that whole little situation, because I don't know what happens with the 6-year-old kid. Like,
I
what do
don't
they
know.
do with that kid?
Tommy still remembers lunch now. Like he come in the mornings and be like, "What we eating for lunch today?"
You don't never.
Mm-mm.
I can't possibly be the only person that thinks about lunch and dinner.
My favorite lunch was pizza burgers.
Man, no, my favorite one was the. I used to love the pizza, but what was my favorite lunch? I used to love the hamburgers too. I don't think I ever had the hamburger, the pizza hamburger. But oh yeah, I did like those. Yeah, I did. Um, I used to like it when they had the strawberry milk because they didn't have that all the
I
time.
didn't drink milk even back then.
I used to chocolate milk was my thing. Uh, what was my favorite? Well, the funniest thing is when Thanksgiving would come around. This is from high school. When Thanksgiving would come around, they'd have like a Thanksgiving lunch
Hmm.
esque. So I love those. And at my high school, we had the rich line and I hate to say it like this,
The rich line and the what?
and the poor line.
Why would you call them the
Because
rich
you
line and
the
the poor?
rich line you had to pay. Steve know about it. You had to pay. Um,
I'm sure Steve doesn't call it that.
Steve, please comment and tell me what you used to
I'm
call the
sure
rich
Steve
line.
didn't call it the rich
It
line.
was it was called the rich line because you had to pay for your lunch.
Sharon, that is him.
What?
As soon as breakfast is done, my friend says, "What's for lunch?"
Yes,
Sometimes I could be in the middle of cooking breakfast and he'd be like, "What we eating for dinner?"
it got to be on your mind.
You called it the rich line for real,
Thank you,
Steve?
Steve.
Oh my god!
Thank you, Steve. But no, because you had to pay for it. They had I can't remember. I know Wings was over
So
there.
it was different.
Yeah, it was a complete. It's just what you had to pay for.
So all of our stuff was together,
Yeah, nah.
and then you knew that the stuff is almost kind of like
You knew payday for me.
So you know how like when you go into like Piccadilly, for example,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
they have like the salads and stuff
Right, right,
lined
right.
out, and then there's like the tiered area where like the
Yeah,
cakes are.
yeah.
So like the tiered area would be things that you have to pay for, and
Nah,
everything else that was like on the warmers was stuff that was
nah.
free,
So the way it was set up
and then you
was
had to ask for cookies.
from left to right, right?
Uh-huh.
The left side was where you return your trays and stuff. The next to it, the door next to it was the start of the rich line. And then the next door was the end of like when you come out of the rich line. Then the next door was the poor line, like the free lunch line. And then I think it was another end that they didn't use.
Children are cruel. Y'all really was up here calling it the rich line and the poor line.
Yeah, yeah. What do you say?
That's what we called it. It's actually called something else.
I don't know what it's called now. But
It's
man,
actually called a la carte, LOL, but we didn't know that. Of course not.
that's what it was called when we was in school, see. But it was the rich line in school. And
Yeah, they had all our stuff together. Everybody was going through the same line. And if you was cool with the lunch lady and you just wanted to like go get cookies or something,
yeah.
you could like go
What
in
was your
backwards
what
and
was your
just ask.
favorite dessert that they had? Because they always had a dessert.
I would just buy chocolate chip cookies.
Mine was the Rice Krispie treat. I used to love them Rice Krispie treats.
A la carte sounds rich.
Rich line.
Okay. My wife told me that.
Man. A la carte. Yeah, okay. I can see that happening in school. But then
Thank you, Kena, for the correct terminology.
man, but then like we also had one of the greatest cooks that the city has ever had in Mr. Rice. And like
You
man,
know these people names?
Mr. Rice was a teacher
Oh.
and he cooked he basically had a cooking class. I
Oh,
never
this was
took
your
it.
like FCCLA,
I
like
don't know.
home ec esque class.
I don't think he was home ec. He was a chef. But like we had automotive. Like it's
Okay.
crazy. The way it was set up was it was an automotive class and then it was a cooking class to the left. And me and Mr. Rice got super cool. Every time they would cook, I go over there and be like, yo, can I get a plate?
Our home ec class used to make chicken biscuits
I
as a
think they I
fundraiser.
think at my high school now they actually have a program where the kids, like it leads the kids into chef school or something like that.
So this was different. I need to see y'all curriculum. This sound like this just the
Yeah.
made up stuff. If home ec was not the cooking
Nah,
class.
that was Miss how was Miss Miss C, because she was our senior advisor, and then Miss Donahue. I never took Miss Donahue class, but Miss Donahue was a teacher. Like she taught my mama. Like that was crazy. And yeah,
Did she ever hold grudges against
nah,
you for things your family did?
nah,
One of our assistant principals, Big E, taught my dad.
yeah. And
And
he held a grudge
no, he
against
didn't hold a
me.
grudge against me, but like when he saw me the first time and he looked at my name on paper, he was like, I know your daddy.
Yeah, I heard that a
And
lot.
I'm like, okay.
I heard that a lot, man. Like I always think about that's something my son would never have to like. He eventually, like if he went back to Chattanooga and like, I know who your dad is, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But in school, it's something I like always had to run into because same name, you
Yeah,
know.
well, obviously, almost same name.
Yeah.
But he was looking at stuff. He was like, I know your daddy. Tell your daddy. He don't know me as Big E.
What did you learn in home ec? Because I don't think I ever took it.
To be domestic, sewing, cooking,
Huh.
things. I never took the class.
Yeah.
It wasn't on my honors
Yeah.
diploma path.
This gonna mess you up too. So in school,
Mhm.
we had a technology side, and I don't know what the red side was, but we was literally in school, blue polos, red polos, and the freshmen had to wear white polos.
We were allowed to pick different colors within the uniform
Yeah,
family,
yeah,
but it wasn't like you were assigned a
yeah. We
specific
was assigned a
color.
specific color,
But
and
we
then we
had
had our own halls.
but we had for lack of better words, the college path and the technical path. And that's the diploma
Steve, you
that
was
you
a
could
red
get.
shirt.
We had woodworks, home ec, cooking class, and mechanics. The cooking class was full cooking, home ec was everything else.
I remember
But
I
we
took
didn't
an
have a
art
cooking
class, and I
class.
was like, "Why am I in this
I don't know. I don't know why I took art because you could get out of taking art by taking a fine art like I took orchestra, so
class?"
band, orchestra, and all that stuff. Y'all were academic bloods and crips.
Right.
Steve left 2 years before you.
Yeah, '03. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think that's the first year, like my freshman year, we didn't have red and blue.
Mm-hmm.
But my sophomore year, I think that's when that was Steve's senior year. That's when they implemented that.
The bloods and the crips.
Yeah. No, it was I don't know what the red polos were, but ours was ITBS. And I have no clue what it stands for now.
Learn how to cook because my mom was a single parent and worked long hours.
Oh, yeah. My sister taught me how to cook eggs, and it was a done deal from there. How to fry them,
How to
like
cook eggs.
yeah, how to fry eggs, and I was like,
At what
oh
point did you
man,
learn how to fry an
they
egg?
gonna let me use the stove.
At what age did you learn how to fry an egg?
We stayed in some apartments. I was in elementary. I probably was like 10,
This was right before
9
y'all
or 10.
moved.
Yeah. Um, that's when I started cooking hamburger helper. And now thinking about it, it's like I used to cook it for my mom. Be like, hey, I cooked you something, you know?
And
And
she probably like, oh,
right,
thanks,
right.
Dave.
Like I'm thinking
It's so
back.
funny that your mama calls you Dave.
Yeah. Just
The final D is silent.
right, right. And then she took out the
She did.
eye. But like just thinking about it, man, hamburger helper is good, but it's like it's so much to be desired.
It is salty as I don't know what.
Yeah, it's like so much other things that are better.
That's true.
But nah,
I
man,
don't know how we got here.
I don't either, man. But I was enjoying this little spot
Academic
that we was
bloods
at.
and crips.
That's hilarious, Hubert. Um, but no, man, I don't even know how we got there or where we was going with it. Shout out to Brainerd High School, man. My alma mater.
Mm-hmm. Them guys.
Yep. What else we got to talk about? All right, let's talk about it. It's Tyre Nichols. They released a video last night. Artika didn't watch it. I'm pretty sure
Artika's not going to watch it.
Artika's not going to watch it, but I watched it
I took
in
a
its
stance in
entirety.
2019 that I was not going to watch anyone else be abused or killed on purpose. And
Um,
that's where I stand with it.
so when we was in Memphis this past weekend, that's when I was hearing about it. So I was like super interested in it because this is the first time that I can realize Sharon didn't watch it either. This is the first time that I can realize, like, I feel like everything was done right. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you found out a situation with the police happened, immediately fired them. I ain't gonna say immediately because they had to do their investigation, but week and a half, they fired these guys.
Mhm,
And a week after that, these guys were charged.
mhm,
So it's not like they're trying to sweep it under the rug. And all week now, they're like, hey, we're gonna release this video. This video is violent. This video is this video is that. It's senseless crime, blah blah this, blah blah that. So they're trying to prepare everybody. The confusion part was why are people protesting?
Um, I believe that the protesting is about reform,
Yeah,
not about like nobody wants to give a hand clap that you did this correctly, right? We want this to not
not
have to
happen.
happen again.
Yeah,
Um, I'm with you, Artika. I don't think those videos shouldn't be shown or announced like a news series. It's like everybody's been talking about, and of course, the majority of like my Facebook feed is still people from
yeah,
Memphis.
yeah.
That's where I'm from. These are the people that I grew up with and have known my entire life. So many of them are talking about it and talking about what's going on in the city. And I actually was up in the middle of the night feeding quiet and looking at a video of people like looting.
Really?
Hmm. Like broke into like a pawn shop.
In Memphis?
Uh-huh. There was like a shopping strip mall type deal.
Yeah.
And they had broken into several stores there and was just like
And
carrying stuff out.
that's the thing that doesn't make sense to me because it's like, why are you doing that when the things that we asked for, right?
Hmm.
In the last time we had to protest like this, um, why are you doing that now? Because they did the things that we asked for. They wanted somebody to be accountable for it. These guys got fired and charged.
Hmm.
They
And there
made
still needs to be more arrests from what I'm
from
hearing
what I'm
from
seeing
other
and
people.
stuff like that.
Like,
Yeah.
cause you watched it and my mom watched it,
Yeah.
and y'all talked to me about it, but like knowing that these things existed and there were more people involved, like I know that um they didn't charge two firemen, but those firemen lost their jobs.
Yeah.
Which I don't really know for what.
Yeah.
Like, did they just not respond at all? Like they got to the scene and was like, we ain't gonna do nothing.
Yeah,
But
that's the thing that I like. If I could ask a question, why did you see a person sitting there dying and you just stood in front of them?
because your job as a first responder is literally to respond
Respond to a situation.
first. It's in the
Goodness.
title.
And it's like I watched it because I f- for my simple thing of I have to be able to regurgitate this information to my children 20 years from now.
Mhm.
So I have to intake it out. Me just being nosy.
That's what it is. Go on, tell you what it is.
And it like I just think it's extremely sad that it's like first off, and I talked to Steve about this Thursday, I think. Me and Steve have a podcast, Speaker Geekers podcast with Greg and yeah, so but anyway,
They don't know who Greg is either, obviously.
Greg is a cousin. We love him. Um but yeah, so we talked about this and I was like, well, why um I lost what I was saying.
He said every politician who claimed that they would stop police brutality are damn liars. Biden and we're not. I don't think
I
you
don't think
can
that
stop
yeah, like they don't have
police
nothing to do to it.
brutality. I think that you have to reform
I think there
the
has to be
police.
a I think you have to put a barrier in entry,
A bigger
a
barrier.
bigger barrier in entry because
The
a
way they was breathing on that test, on that run, the
right,
physical endurance test
man.
don't matter no more.
I think because you can't just say, okay, I'm gonna be a doctor today and just sign up to be a doctor.
Correct.
I just feel like it has to be something more to put in there. What I was going to say was the theory that them being five black men, understanding that when a black man is stopped by a police officer, there's something that triggers in their mind to say, well, in my mind, I can't speak for other black men, but this black man here triggers and it thinks, okay, how do I get home?
Mhm,
How do I make sure that I get home for my family?
mhm.
You know, how do I make sure I see my sister, see my mom
In
again?
Florida, you can.
What joke? I love Florida. Florida's cool. They got some questionable things down there, but it's like that sense of sensibility because they first off the officers came at him angry.
Mhm,
Like, what are you so mad for? They was talking about the officers not being able to de-escalate the situation because they were the ones that was causing it to escalate. It's like, man, so many things are wrong in this situation. And just standing on the fact that y'all are black men, knowing that this man is scared of y'all. This man is afraid. And they're wondering why he took off and ran. I don't know how many people wouldn't. You sit there, you beat them because they punched him in the first place. And then they're like, give me your hands. I'll beat your ass and I'll do this and I'll do this to you. Then he gets tased and he don't know what he got pulled over for.
Did they ever reveal why he got pulled
No,
over?
we're still they're saying he was recklessly driving, but there's no proof of it.
Okay.
And so at this point, the proof doesn't even matter
Mhm.
because what you did was worse than him recklessly driving. You know?
What did Huber
Um,
say? It will still be going on 20 years from now. Biden increased police budgets and is hiring more officers, and Democrats who need black votes will continue to pass said legislation. Crystal said, watching the interview on CNN of Tyree's mom was heartbreaking. The person who came to her house to let her know that he was in the hospital
mm,
didn't
mm,
share what
mm.
hospital he was at or anything.
So I don't know how many hospitals it is in Memphis.
I don't know either because a few of them have closed down that
But
were
she
like
had to look
downtown area.
around to find her child.
Hmm.
Like that whole situation and just thinking about it, just hearing about it, it's like, you like the anger in me because it's police officers, the people who are supposed to the people we're supposed to call in an emergency.
Hmm.
When something bad happens, we're supposed to call these folks. And here it is, these guys, for whatever reason, started the situation off mad and continued the situation until they beat a man until he died.
Hmm.
Beat a man to death.
He ended
And
up being at St. Francis. I would have thought, well, so many people have done things incorrectly in general, but I would have thought that a person that got beat like that would have ended up at the med. But again,
like what's even more infuriating is once they got him sat up against the car,
hmm.
they all stood in a circle trying to get their story straight as to what happened.
Oh, they did.
Yeah. They was like, well, he took off running and I had to chase him. I sprayed myself. I sprayed him, sprayed myself, got all in my eye, blase this and blase that. And I'm like, check on this man. This man falls over there like, sit up. He can't. You're gonna kick them in the face. You're gonna punch them in the face. Basically treated him like a rag doll. And you mad because he made you run. You
I
should have just went on ahead and shot him.
I have a classmate who is a teacher, and one of the officers was her student, and she was like, when I first saw his picture that he was one of the people that got arrested, I was like, he had to have gotten arrested for just standing by and idly watching, like not saying anything. Like that
Yeah,
had to be the reason that he
yeah.
got arrested. And then she said, I watched the video and I watched him kick this man in the head. And she was like, you just never know
Mm-hmm.
how people are going to react to things.
Right.
And she's like, I never in a million years
Would have
would have
thought he.
thought that that's how he would have acted in general.
Yeah.
Not even in that situation, but she was like, I would have never thought him to be a violent person, let alone him being violent unjustly.
Yeah. It's just a. It's a. It goes back to the idea that um what is the saying? You're not guilty until proven guilty.
You're innocent until proven
Yeah.
guilty.
But for us, it's
You
the
was
other
trying to
way.
figure that out.
Yeah, I was trying to. I was like, it's not right what I'm thinking, but I'm gonna say it.
Mm-hmm,
But for us, it's different.
mm-hmm,
And why is it like that? This man, like, let's say this man was drunk.
mm-hmm,
Let's say he was on drugs. Let's say he was driving reckless.
mm-hmm.
Does those things cost him his life? It's the him doing that the result of his, like, the trade off for that his life.
The trade off of, even if he hadn't died, the trade off wouldn't be the like the result of what
Yeah,
happened. Like
yeah.
that's not a trade off. Like when you think about it in the terms that had he not died, he would be sitting here with hospital bills from getting beat.
The city would be poor because he's gonna sue the city.
He'd have to prove
I think they
that
gonna
he
sue.
didn't do anything
I think they
wrong.
probably should even,
Oh, the family is gonna have a come up off of this financially, but at the cost of losing a
Yep,
family member.
yep.
And is that how you want it to go out?
Nope,
No, not
nope.
at all. We need police reform in
Oh
every
yeah,
police department in
we
this country.
definitely
We absolutely do.
we definitely do. And man, it's the sad part is so many people were just standing around him as he died, or as he
Because he
at
died a few days later
yeah, he
in the
died a few
hospital.
days later, but as his internal injuries were getting worse and worse, and just people like it, I think they said it started at 8:30. I know they didn't move him to a stretcher until 9 o'clock
Mm-hmm,
because I was paying attention to it on the time,
mm-hmm,
but I wasn't paying attention to what time it started. So for 30 minutes, let's say, like, they was like, the thing is they hit and punched him for 4 minutes, like 9 times or something like that.
mm-hmm,
He was tased. He was pepper sprayed. He was tased twice, pepper sprayed a few times, and getting beat up
mm-hmm.
in that span of time. And just so many people were just standing around, just looking at it. And it's like, how do you feel good about that?
Easy, cheap words. How do you reform your way out of this? I don't know.
I don't think you can. Like, that's the thing. Like, at this point,
People are just going to get better at bending
right?
the way that they basically it's the thought process of I'm not going to break the rules, I'm going to bend them
Well, you
in my favor.
think about it like this. Like, a few years ago, they started implementing body cams. Like,
Mm-hmm.
10 years ago, we didn't have body cams, right? With body cams in 2020 alone, we had so many black people getting killed by the police.
Mm-hmm.
This situation, body cam completely. We have everybody. We got 3 or 4 different body cams that we saw yesterday, and this happens. Like, you're recording it.
Have you ever seen where cops were invited before the public saw the video? I'm not mad, just saying it was fast. No.
Have I seen
The cops like get arrested and all that stuff before the
No,
footage
that's it.
comes out.
And for me, that's what I think. Do your investigation, because they obviously looked at the video and was like, hey, this is not right. We got to do something.
One of the issues with body cam footage is that there's not anybody actively reviewing it until something happens.
Right.
How many people are, I don't even want to say like beat or killed, or how many things happen to people unjustly that don't result in injuries that was recorded and nobody was like, let me go look at it. And I get it. That's a lot of work,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But it's not happening.
yeah. But I just think
It will happen again, and the Democratic Party will continue to demand your votes and will spend more money to make it even worse.
I just feel like, man, there has to be a bigger barrier to entry.
Hmm.
Like, I don't think I should be able to wake up in the morning and be like, hey, I want to be a police officer.
I used to work at a jewelry store in Buckhead, and we had off-duty officers that worked there with us during the day. And one of the officers, I you become cool with them, right?
Yeah.
So one of them, I asked him, like, how did you get into becoming a police officer? And he literally told me, I was put on child support and I had lost my job. And I saw a sign at the MARTA station that said they was paying MARTA officers like 42,000 a
Hmm.
year or something like that. And he was like, 42,000 compared to nothing.
Let's do it.
I can get in. He was like, I could get in at the academy and still afford to pay my child support.
Yeah,
And then from there, I know what I'll be making.
yeah. But
And
it's
it's like he had no desire to be an officer at all and had been doing it for so many years. But he was like, when we were talking, he was like, there's a lot of parts of it that I just don't want to be involved
yeah,
in. He was like they'll never be able to put me on traffic because I'm not about to stop people and search their vehicles.
yeah,
Like, you smoking weed doesn't affect me.
yeah.
Like, this was just
Right,
stuff that
right,
he
right.
was saying. And it was just like, to see that a person is just like, I became a police officer because I was on child support. It's like, what?
Yeah. That's I mean, like, it's certain professions that we require people to have certifications, and then we question their certifications,
Hmm.
right? It's certain people that when they do their job wrong, it's a higher um cost.
Hmm.
You know, they may kill somebody, they may, you know, permanently damage somebody or something like that. But it's like we see this, and it's a senseless act. You guys were stopping him because he was driving reckless and ended up killing this guy.
Hmm.
And then it's like you start to question, like, why did you become a police officer? Why were you so upset? Why did you do this? Why did you, that was the decision that you made. Like, a lot of something that I'd never thought about was the hierarchy between
Hmm.
the levels of what I'm
Hmm.
trying to say.
Hmm.
Um there was nobody saying, hey, this is enough. This is, stop.
Yeah.
There was nobody to check them from beating him up.
I don't
And
know.
unless the highest ranked officer was one of the people beating him up, which I don't know.
Highly doubt, though.
It's just a terrible situation. It's a bad look.
Just based on how long those guys collectively had been on the force.
Right. I think they all ranged about 6 years, right? Something like that.
Yeah, some of them was like, yeah, I think that was the most was like
Yeah,
6.
6. Yeah.
I
So,
think 2018
yeah.
was like the earliest that I saw.
Yeah. But it's like, man, you sit there, you look at it, you hear about this situation, and you're like, oh, they're black. The kid was black. Oh, he didn't do anything. Oh man, they was just stopping him for uh and let's say reckless drive. Reckless driving is dangerous.
Hmm.
So okay, that's a real reason to stop a person,
Hmm.
figure out what's going on with them. But you don't start off the situation just already on 10. You don't end the situation on 10 either.
There were so many things that, like, when we first started hearing about this, and especially when the officers were first arrested, my question was to you, and I mean, you didn't have an answer, obviously, but it's like, at what point is your ego so bruised that you feel like you have to hurt a person like this? And it was like one guy, because I heard some of it because you were sitting beside me
Yeah.
watching it. I sprayed myself in the face. That pissed you off that bad? I had to chase him. That's your job. That's why you go through this physical endurance test.
Right.
Because criminals are gonna run. They don't want to be caught.
Yeah. I just I'm curious to see what the rest of the who else gets fired and
They said that they have suspended the entire Scorpion unit,
oh yeah.
which I don't know if I have. Like, I'm still friends with a few officers in Memphis. Not sure of the logistics of where they work and when they work, but I hope that none of them were, I don't want to say a part of it, because you always hope that nobody that you know and whose character you feel like you can vouch for is a part of something like that. But then also you hope that they're not just like terminated by association, right?
Yeah.
But that's true. Until the police officers are personally financially liable for these crimes, there's zero hope for change. You have to find a way to do that, because like at this point these people have lost their freedom and their pensions.
Over I'm just angry.
You made me run. That's what it is.
That's what it was. You made me stop you.
I think the department should be financially responsible as well as the officers involved. The department being responsible financially is just crippling the city of Memphis, because that's who paying.
Because that's the thing,
taxes
man.
are paying the city. I mean, the fire. I mean, not fire. The police.
That's the thing. It's like you have to realize, like, some people be like, well, people like criminals gonna criminal. We know that. And somebody has to enforce a law, right? But the enforcement of the law should not be somebody's life, because the law don't say to kill a person, and I don't know, man. I just don't know. It's sad. It's a sad situation. It's sad to hear about it. Sad to see it.
Strong police unions will always protect them. I remember having that conversation with my dad. My dad was a fireman for almost 30 years. And he was like, they roll tight.
They're supposed to.
Like, they are like, nope, I ain't telling on nobody for nothing. And that's a conversation. My dad hasn't been a firefighter in quite a while. Like it's nearing on 20 years again.
Like, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get their close knitness and stuff like that, because they're the ones that they depend on in situations that may cause something to their life, but they signed up for it.
Democrats are too cowardly to push for said legislation, but brave enough to demand your vote. Remember and don't act accordingly. With how swift they dealt with these specific officers, do you think it's a bigger issue with how long it took to deal with other officers in this prior situation? Absolutely.
What do I stop?
Do you think that, okay, they dealt with these officers very fast, like before anything came out. But on the other side is we have to wait for videos and be outraged and march and protest before anything is done.
Yeah.
That's what he's asking. Like, do you think that that's the bigger issue?
That's what I was trying to figure out, because like, you want to, if it's a race thing, then we have a much bigger argument. But if it's a police brutality thing, man, I can respect what Memphis did. I can respect what Memphis Police Department did because they saw a situation, it got back to them, they immediately took action.
Their oath to protect citizens should supersede any other allegiance. It should. You are absolutely right, because that is the oath you took, to protect and serve, not to be loyal to one another.
Yeah. But I get it. Like, I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying I get it. Right?
Yeah.
I get that part. But when you see something like this, in a situation like this, it's like, man, you have to
Strong police unions will always protect them. Race is always a problem in the USA. It's what the country was built on. It
Yep.
was built on racism.
Yep. And unfortunately, it was us, black people.
Hmm.
Man, it's just a tough situation, man.
I'm interested to see what else is going to happen, like as far as charging additional people and more people losing their jobs. Um, I know that the people that weren't directly a part of it, them losing their jobs just means they'll go somewhere else and get a job.
Yeah.
Um,
Go to another police department, probably a smaller one in another state, another city.
like I think about that here in Metro Atlanta. You could be Atlanta police and you could quit Atlanta police and you can get picked up anywhere. Like all
Hmm.
these small cities and towns all have police
Yeah.
departments.
Yeah.
So it's easy to pick up and get another job, and you just got to go through their training,
Yeah.
learn what's going on. You know how to police, quote
Right.
unquote.
You know how to do the job. You just got to learn their specifics
Hmm.
or
The
whatnot.
geography of their land.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you make changes. This has become like, I hate to say it, but like this conversation just feels like the 90s sitcoms where they have the really serious episode
The serious music, the dramatic music is
and
playing in the
then the black
background.
screen pops up and it's like, if you or someone you know.
Right, right. I felt like we needed to put a disclaimer at the front end of it, like, "Hey, we are going to talk about this situation."
I mean, you said it at the
I
beginning.
did, I did say it at the beginning. But that's all I got to say about that. But before I go, because I don't know if you're leaving with me, but
That's why they got asked when did I get married? Because
yeah.
when you got married, you be talking about just yourself.
But before I go, NFC and AFC championship is this weekend. Um, what she say?
She heard that three of the officers were from the Alpha fraternity. I have heard that there were two that were from another fraternity. I didn't actually, I don't know any of these officers
Yeah,
to like any of these guys to say one way or another that anything was anything, but people did mention associations and there are gangs within the police departments.
yeah,
Like they be clicked up.
yeah. No, I get it, man. But anyway,
You ready to end on a
yeah,
higher note than
yeah.
that?
That's like it. It really got me down.
Okay.
It
That's
really,
that's why I
it really
protect my
got me
peace.
down. Like I mean, like I'm at peace with it, but it's just, man. I fear. My heart goes out to the family. My heart goes out to um my heart goes out to the family of the police officers. Because imagine having to explain that to your wife, your family, your kids, and then they see it
Hmm.
and they know that's not the type of person you are. Or maybe that is the type of person you are. But you put them in a predicament because people know you and then people know
Hmm.
them. So it's my heart just goes out to that because those are things that doesn't need to happen and could have been um
Avoid it.
avoided. But
They name all of their units, Steve, and Scorpion is just like one of the overnight units.
he said, damn the family. Like they didn't do anything though. You know? They're just a bystander of what this person did to another man. And
Hmm.
that's the sad part about it. So my heart just goes out to the whole situation and I really, feel bad about it. You know what I'm saying? So but to end on a lighter note, today is a sunny day. It's supposed to be cold. The NFC and the AFC championships are this weekend, so y'all check those out. Um, what else? What else we got?
I'm gonna try to find some dirt.
Gonna go try to find some dirt and live it up outside and play with Lily and Quad today.
Yep, that's pretty. I gotta get some seeds too,
Yeah,
not just
that
dirt.
too.
Starting
Oh, we need to
planting in the garden.
line that breaker up too. But anyway, love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Today was interesting conversation. And yeah, you got anything?
Mm-mm.
All right.
All right, bye, y'all.
Peace.